Hello, Dr. Premanand here with yet another edition of Open Doors, and this time again why Ielts is so important. You might be an aspiring work professional, a retired teacher, a young teacher, young and proactive student, housewife, research scholar, or anyone willing to learn and look out for new prospects. You might be planning to study abroad, you might be applying to an international university program, you might be even going abroad as a volunteer, you might want to study in top rated colleges and universities in India, or you might even be keen to work in an English speaking country. Then IELTS is for you. Search no further, because I'm with you and I'm going to talk to you about IELTS Academic. The IELTS Academic, the total test time is 2 hours 45 minutes, and in this 2 hour 45 minutes you have listening, you have academic writing, you have academic reading, and you also have speaking. Now we'll just go into detail about all these things. The listening is 30 minutes plus 10 minutes for transfer of your responses to an answer sheet. You will have 4 audio recordings in varying accents. You will write basically using multiple choice, matching, diagram labeling, sentence completions by listening to 4 recordings of native English speakers, and you will write your answers. The first recording would most probably be a conversation between 2 people. The second recording would be a monologue set in an everyday social context. The third recording would be a conversation of up to 4 people set in an educational or a training context. And the fourth recording would be a monologue basically on an academic subject. Assessors, the examiners, will be looking in for the evidence of your ability to understand the main ideas and detailed factual information, the opinions and attitudes of speakers, the purpose of a word, and evidence of your ability to follow the development of ideas. Now, please note there is a small change in the computer. If you're doing a computer based listening test, the timings will be slightly different because there would be no transfer time. We would have only 30 minutes for this. Next section is the academic reading section, which is for 60 minutes. And in this section, you have 3 long reading passages with tasks which would include diagrams or graphs or illustrations. The text range would be from descriptive to factual. The reading section would consist of approximately 40 questions designed to test a wide range of reading skills, like your skim reading, reading for main ideas, reading for detail, understanding logical arguments, recognizing writers' opinions, attitudes and purposes. This section would also include 3 long texts which range from factual information to discussion pieces and analysis. These might be taken from books and journals and magazines and newspapers. You have the academic writing section, which is again a duration for 60 minutes. Here also you have 2 tasks. One written task is to describe, explain or summarize text or diagrams, which would be approximately 150 words, a minimum of 150 words, and there would also be an essay task, a minimum of 250 words, and this would be topics comprising of topics of general interest to and suitable for test takers. And these 2 tasks, in the first task you will be presented with a graph or a table or a chart, and you will be asked to describe or summarize or explain the information in your own words. In task 2, you will be asked to write an essay in response to the point of view, and both the responses must be in the formal style. And then you've got the speaking. The duration is for 10 to 14 minutes. Here there would be a face-to-face interview with your examiner, including short questions about familiar topics and speaking in detail about one topic. You would be required to book the speaking section on another day, and this speaking section assesses your use of spoken English. Please understand that every test is recorded. In part 1, the examiner will ask you general questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics like your home or family, work, studies and and this would be about 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2 would be you would be given a card which will ask you to talk about a particular topic, and you will have 1 minute to preparation time for it, and you will have to speak for about 2 minutes. Then the examiner will ask 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. Part 3, you will be asked further questions about the topic in part 2. This would give you more opportunity to discuss more abstract ideas with the issues, and this would last approximately 4 to 5 minutes. And so this is the IELTS test format. Now the IELTS academic writing module is what we are going to discuss next. Now here you need to know how to logically arrange and answer all parts. Basically, you would need to have an introduction, your viewpoint 1, your viewpoint 2, opinion, and conclusion. So this is how you're going to write the academic writing part. You would also need to present a clear position. You will have to use certain writing prompts like I believe or however, I strongly believe, as far as I am concerned. You need to give reasons for your answer, including any relevant examples from your knowledge or experience. Don't forget that in writing task 2, so I'm basically talking about writing task 2, you are not only allowed to but required to give your opinion while writing. This will test your ability to clearly organize and present your opinions. So you have to give your opinions. You need to structure your essay in the format that I told you. You also need to use linking devices and phrases at present and then, most importantly, for example, therefore, however, because. These are all linking devices that you need to use in your writing. Plus, you need to look into different phrasal verbs. This is an example of phrasal verbs. You need to understand many of these phrasal verbs. Then you need to use a range of vocabulary. Use words that you can spell and understand. Better to use clear and correct words rather than use complicated words you don't understand. Communicate clearly with the reader so that they can follow your thoughts and views. Use words or phrases that go naturally with each other or collocation. Use phrases that show you understand how you use phrasal verbs and idiomatic language. Plus, check for errors and typos. Now you need to practice writing. You need to practice error-free sentences. You need to use simple or complex sentences. You need to use articles and prepositions or subject-verb agreement, plurals, then grammatical structures. So this is simple, complex, and compound sentences, examples of sentences that you could use. The articles that you need to know, a and the. Then common prepositions that you could look into. And I've also given you a subject-verb agreement. I've also given you a small exercise there. You can also have to look into irregular plurals. So the basic idea of writing task 2 is that once you finish, you need to check, because you need to check whether you have answered all the parts, whether you've used paragraphs, whether you've used linkers, whether you have got a good spelling range of vocabulary, whether you used simple sentences, complex sentences, and whether your punctuations are all perfect. So have a great time and do your academic writing task 2 well. Thank you. Bye.